Hello everyone, it's Wowman. Today we're going to walk through the area of the Star Wars park, which is the ice planet of Hoth. It's in the upper corner here, and I think we'll enter this land from Naboo that we talked about last time, going through a little tunnel area that goes into the kind of side area of Hoth. And right in front of you as you enter here is the queue building for a roller coaster that I call Escape from Hoth, and it's kind of a launch and drop roller coaster that shoots people out into the air and does some flips and turns, and I just thought it was appropriate, like all the spaceships trying to leave the planet when they were getting attacked in the movie. First we'll kind of go over here. Here's the exit path. Just kind of shows you when people are walking out of the building, they're going past some icy rock formations and some snow. And now let's swing around and look a little bit more at the queue. So it starts out as an outside queue, and I do have a fast pass or whatever it's called in the game queue option here. And inside it's a little bit of an industrial frozen Hoth, maintenance type building. Lots of pipes, lots of mechanics. Kind of added a window there just to have some daylight shine through and lighten it up a little bit. Here you can see all the pipes and steam and stuff as people circle around through the building to get in line. The actual load station right here, where the fast pass line gets merged together, comes into more of a cave, ice cave type structure where you actually board the vehicles that lead through a door here and eventually climb up the lift hill. Alright, let's zoom up a little bit and get more of an aerial view of this ride or this roller coaster. Kind of zooms around and does some loops around the monorail track and then ultimately works its way back into the park. But one thing I really want to say about this is I am so happy that Frontier changed the game to allow us to select and mix the different terrain maps in one park, because I was really stressing out about how I was going to do Hoth in this terrain that I had selected originally. But as you could see, I was able to add it in, which really made me happy. So kind of going back down along the path here, in this area of the park, I have what I call the mess hall. It's an area where people could go inside, and there's a couple food stalls in there where people could get food or sit down at tables to eat. I heavily used the billboard capabilities to create this building. The entire building is sheathed in billboards that I used the rusty corrugated metal type finish on, so it matched the corrugated roofs that were already in game. But I'm really happy the way this building turned out as far as looking like an industrial building. It had broken windows I put up at the top, as you could see, and so on. The roller coaster we just talked about kind of zooms along the pathway there. Going back over this way, here's another little extension of the mess hall, just an area to get some, I believe that's a water stall. And continuing on down the path this way, this is one of the other entrances to the park, which is the entrance from Dagobah. Swinging around this way, there's a couple flat rides, some more walkway areas with benches and snow-covered trees. And you'll also notice as we go through here, many of the buildings I covered with icicles and snow patches, like there's melting snow kind of going on. There's a little slushy stand there. Here's the queue lines for the two flat rides in this area. I just happen to call them Snowfall and Avalanche. And as you can see, the queue lines are pretty simple. They're open air with some ice type rock formations just separating the two queue lines. Swinging back around, looking on the other side of this area, opposite the flat rides, I have another little building that I put in that has, again, a place to get some drinks and some information or fast passes. This area, I think actually all the rides I put in this area, except these 2 flat rides we just looked at, actually have a fast pass lane. People are using them very heavily, which, this is kind of the first area I experimented with putting those in. Here's the third entrance and exit to this land. This goes over into the indoor part of the park, and also right along here is the monorail station that serves this area of the park. If you look inside, the exit of the monorail, again, has a little bit of an industrial type look with pipes and cables all over the place. And the entrance queue line to this monorail station is an open air kind of metal and steel bridge type structure, stairwell type structure. If you swing back around this way, you could see this half of the monorail station actually is more themed on the indoor part of the park, because when you exit the station, you're actually exiting into the edge of indoor. So this station again serves a dual purpose and has a dual theme to it if you really look at it closely. Alright, going a little deeper into the park here. First thing I want to mention is on this station I also put triggered doorways for the monorail trains to pass through as they enter and exit the station. Moving on to this flat ride, here's the queue line that passes through another garage type structure where you can see there's a lot of junk and material laying around that the queue line passes, and as you exit you are underneath the very large and looming AT-AT vehicle, and so that kind of serves the entrance to this flat ride, which I called the snow speeders, I believe, or something like that, because I thought they looked like snow speeders spinning and twisting and turning. Back across from this ride is another flat ride queue, Hoth Ice Sliders. This flat ride is the Skizzer, I think it's called, and it kind of just slides around like on a plate of ice is kind of the idea I was going with there. Again, the theme around here is snow-covered woods and so on. Also on the exit path here, there's another building that you could get pizza in. So yeah, 2 spinny, twisty flat rides. Let's grab a piece of pizza as we exit. It's not going to make anybody vomit, is it? Going back on the path here, I built what I call a lookout tower. It's basically a water stand up at the top, just somewhere for guests to walk up and take a view of the Hoth area of the park. Actually, I just put it in there to fill up some empty space I had in that area. This area that we're going into now I really like. It's I call it the Hoth base main hangar. So this is kind of like the hangar where the rebels were stationed and hiding. So it's an inside ice cave type structure. There's lots of places to eat, lots of places to shop. There's some restrooms, and this is also the area where the queue line starts for a river raft ride and another flat ride that's outside of the hangar on the far side here. So as we go a little deeper here, you can see the 2 queue lines. We'll zip outside again real quick just to see this other flat ride. The queue is mostly outside, and if we go back in, we'll take a look at the river raft queue line. I really like this queue line a lot because it reminded me of the corridors in the movie where all the rebels were running around as they were trying to escape and getting attacked. Again, lots of wires and cables and pipes and steam and mechanical and electrical type boxes everywhere. Icicles hanging, snow walls, ice walls, and again there's some openings or gaps in the walls where you could see outside and see the flat ride. And eventually, as you make your way through the queue line, you find yourself all the way up to the loading station for that ride. Let's zoom outside here to show you a little bit about what the river raft ride looks like. I believe I called it the Hoth Frozen River Rapids. It starts out outside, then it goes into an underground ice cave type tunnel where I heavily used billboards to create a bunch of scenes within that ice cave, where it eventually splashes back out through this kind of icy river canyon that has more rapids in it, where it will climb back up out of the canyon and eventually make its way back into the loading and unloading station. Sorry about all the zipping around here. My frames per second weren't cooperating with me very well as I was moving quickly, zipping around this park. This park has a pretty cool nighttime look as well. It's very blue and purpley looking as far as the lighting that I did. I also did no pathway lamps, like raised pathway lamps in this land. I did all ground level, basic, kind of modern looking lighting. So it's a little darker, I think, than some of the other parks, but it does provide sufficient lighting along all the pathways. But I do kind of like the way it has that cold look and feel at night. So that's it for Hoth. Check out the rest of the posts that I make with pictures and some videos of the rides, and enjoy the park. Talk to you guys later.